180!
Luke, huge congratulations. 3 nightly wins, back to back. Hearing these, just sum up what the emotion's like right now for us.
I feel great, to be honest. It's something that you always want to achieve when you're playing like it. I know Leeds is not my hometown, I wasn't born here, but it feels like it, and that's good enough for me. So, yeah, it kind of feels amazing right now. When you do it the first time, it was always more special than ever, but to back it up again, obviously Leeds is a very special place to me, and it seems to be the way I keep winning. So, yeah, good couple of weeks for Leeds fans.
Again, long wait since Exeter, as we spoke about yesterday, but how important is it to throw down a marker before the O2 and get that winning feeling back ahead of what could be a huge night for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not about throwing down a marker to your competitors. It's about putting down a marker to yourself to give you that little bit of belief that, okay, I can still win. The last time I won something, or that winning feeling would have been Exeter last time, which was over 2 months ago. So, for me, it's a good feeling. It's been a long time, but obviously I needed to get out of that rut, win something. I know it's not a major trophy, but it's a trophy. It's something that can get me going again. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased. Most
people already think that you and Luke are destined to meet in that final at the O2. Is it important for you just to get one up on over him, just to remind him that you can still beat him as well?
Not really, because I've beat him many times. He's beat me more times. I think it's like 11-9 between us both, or 11-10 or something like that. I don't think you have to get one up on people. I'm not in that kind of mind frame to do things like, I need to get one up on him because that'll teach him. I just, when you're playing, you just want to be at your best. You want to be playing well, and obviously when you're beating the likes of Luke, who is one of the best players in the world, me and him together, yeah, it's good confidence for me. But that doesn't mean if you make it into the final, he's going to think about this game. So yeah, it'll be irrelevant if we make it to the Premier League final.
2 weeks to go, 3 places for the O2 are all done and dusted. You, Luke and Gezi guaranteed.
Is Gezi guaranteed?
Yeah, Gezi's cool. Down now as well. So how nice is that going to be, just being in and around the practice room, watching everyone else sweat for a change, and can you have some banter with them now?
I mean, of course, I won't ban them too much because it's important. I don't want to put them off and stuff like that, but it's going to be an exciting finish for, I think Rob can still, yeah, so there is still a few players that could do it, but obviously it's going to be probably between Michael and Nathan, and it's going to be exciting for them both. Obviously Nathan's been in this predicament a few times that he probably would have rather not been involved in, but Michael's got great experience. Look, it's always a nice way for the fans to see someone battling out. To be honest, if you all qualified, all 4 of you, by week 14, there's no excitement over 15 and 16. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy not have to scrap it out, but of course I still want to go into them nights and win.
Cheers, Luke.
Thank you.
Luke, well done on tonight.
Thank you,
just to explain what it was like coming out in front of that home crowd. I know you did it last year, but the circumstances around the last few days or so, what was it like?
Yeah, really special, to be honest. It's, like I said, it's not my hometown and that, but of course it still feels like that. I've got such a great relationship with the city of Leeds, the Leeds fans. So yeah, it's a lovely reception from them, and it's really great when you give them that win as well. Obviously last year was a different feeling because I was desperate to win because I really wanted that feeling. I got it. This time, of course, it's still great, but it's been a great couple of weeks for Leeds fans. I'm sure that just tops it off a little bit and makes them all very proud.
Does the win tonight sort of, you talked about getting that win the first time since night 4, does it add that little bit of extra focus going into this latter end of the season now? 2 more nights left, and then you've got the big one at the O2.
Yeah, it does. It gives you a bit of confidence, a bit of belief in yourself. I don't think I've been playing that bad over the last couple of months. I've been averaging over 100 and stuff, just not really finishing my opponents off and playing at that critical performances that I did last year. I think I said it earlier on in one of my interviews. Last year I was really clinical. This year I haven't been, but I'm not out. I'm still playing decent enough, to be honest. It's just not being clinical. But tonight and a couple of nights over this Premier League it has been. So hopefully I can do it when it really matters in the finals night.
Well done, Luke.
Thank you, mate.
Luke, congratulations. How much of a difference does it make having the crowd on your side, particularly in a game like the final where it was so nip and tuck?
Yeah, it can help, but it could also be a hindrance because you're desperate to give them what they want. And I thought they were pretty fair tonight. To be honest, I don't think they were really whistling or booing or really trying to put anybody off. There was a couple of jeers every now and then when people were missing against me, but yeah, I thought that was a really great crowd. I didn't see any of the fans trying to put my opponents off, which is the way it should be. So yeah, it was a really good crowd tonight.
How do you go about keeping up this momentum now for the next couple of weeks going into the O2?
Keep winning. That's the only way you can do it. I mean, for me, if you don't win, then the only other way you can do it is by performing well. I performed well last week. I didn't win, of course, but I performed well, so it gave me a decent bit of confidence. Then the week before, obviously, I performed well again. Against Nathan and well in the final against Gizzy. So yeah, just to keep doing stuff like that, and it'll keep your confidence high. Thank you, mate.
Nathan, you said about the importance of getting a recent win. Obviously, you've had that long drought since Exeter. Of your 3 nightly wins, would you say this is arguably the most important, considering how late it is in the season and it's not that far to the final night?
Arguably, yeah, but I think the first one's probably the most important because it sets you off a good precedent to go on and get off early. If you're sort of searching and trying to do what Nathan and Michael have got to go through right now, it becomes tough. So for me, the first one was important because it was nice to get off to a great start, and it gave me good confidence to get a good lead in the table. And I'm reaping the rewards from that start I did 4 nights. I was on 15 points, and that really helped me out, to be honest. Of course, this is my favourite win out of the 3, but I think the first one was the most important. It set off a good precedent for myself in this Premier League.
And we saw it from Luke as well, the fact that you're both in the final and you're already assured of your places. I'm sure that in the last 2 weeks that you won't feel necessarily relaxed. You'll still want to get that win and still want to play as if you are going for it.
Of course, yeah, because we're not going to turn up and travel all the way to Aberdeen and just be happy to lose. You want to win, and there's a 4th place available for someone, and you can't be the one to just relax and if I lose this, it doesn't matter. Someone could be relying on you to win. So you have to be at your best. You have to make sure that in 15 and 16 you're still trying your best and making sure that if someone misses out because of you, unfortunately that might be the way. But you have to make sure that you're at your best and you don't stop someone from getting through from not being at your best. Thank you.
Luke, heading into today, you've beaten Michael van Goan 10 times now in your last 12 matches. Do you think you've got a psychological edge over him?
I don't know, to be honest. You have to ask him that question, but I guess if someone's beating you a lot, then it can have a psychological effect on you. It kind of gets harder and harder every time someone beats you. If you get, say, I think I beat him 8 times on a trot at one point, it's psychologically tough because you don't think you can beat that person. And every time you get in a winning position, it becomes harder. So, yeah, maybe, but of course I can't answer that. You'd have to ask Michael.
Well, the world number 1, you've won 2 of the last 4 majors. With the rise of Luke Littler, do you feel like your achievements and accomplishments often get overlooked?
No, not really. No, I think he's achieved so much greatness. To be honest, we've both achieved a lot. So, I'm happy with what everyone's said about me, and I think everyone knows what I've achieved.
Yeah. And you had the second highest tournament average. Was it frustrating that it was a bit of a while to win your next night from that?
Yeah, a little bit, to be honest, because there's been many opportunities for me to go on and win another night. I just haven't had that clinical edge to go off and actually do it. But tonight, probably one of my better finals that I've had over the last 3 or 4 that I've lost in. So yeah, really, really pleased that I got that off my back and managed to go on and win another night. Thank you.
You versus Littler is without doubt the most fiercely competitive rivalry in darts at the moment, but with the current form, I think you've already played each other 6 times this season. Do you think that somewhat takes away from the rivalry because we see it so often now?
Not particularly. I think it all depends what you want to see. Do you want to see the best players in the world playing against each other, or do you not want to wait 6 months for it? That's the argument. I think a lot of people say it gets boring, but I tell you what, I love watching the 2 best sportsmen in the world going against each other. To be honest, in other sports, you watch boxing and you see Eubank and Ben. What a fight that was! Would I want to see that 20 times? Yeah, I would, because it was a great fight. I wouldn't want to go and watch them fight against other people that weren't as good because it wouldn't be as fun. Of course, I understand that when you're playing each other a lot, it does get tedious. But yeah, for me as a sport fan, I just personally love seeing the best go against each other. So. Yeah, I think the fans should enjoy it, to be honest. It's 2 of the best players in the world playing against each other. And hopefully, in my opinion, I hope I see them in the Premier League final as well because I enjoy playing against them.
Are those the matches that make you want to get out of bed more often, those clashes with Littler, clashes with MVG?
Yeah, they do. They make you a better player and a better person. You want to be at your best. I think, no disrespect to anybody you play, but when you're playing against it, you just know you cannot be not at your best. Because if you're not, you'll get beaten. So yeah, for me, I enjoy playing against them. It gets you, like you say, gets you out of bed, makes you want to be better. So yeah, I enjoy them more than any game in world darts.
And so I know this current format's received quite a bit of criticism in comparison to the previous format, but from a player's perspective, do you think it helps you get the best out of your own performance because you're getting those 3 matches instead of the one?
Yeah, I mean it's a hard one to answer because for me this is only my 2nd year. I think is it going 4 or 5 years this format? 4 or 5. So four, yeah. So it's kind of you have to ask the people that have been doing it 4 years. So they're a better person to ask because then they might say, yeah, I'm getting fed up of it. For me, I'm just happy to be here to be honest. So for me, whether it's 1 game a night, 5 games a night, I'm happy to be here to be honest. So whatever the piece you choose in the future, I'm just happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
You said a few weeks, well, a month ago, that you were getting a bit jaded. Do you feel revived again? Now you're getting towards the real crunch time of the Premier League.
Yeah, you know, I just said how I felt. To be honest, I felt a little bit tired, a little bit like I was doing too much for my own self. And you learn from these experiences. Next year, when I play in the Premier League, I'm going to make sure that I give myself more time. You know, maybe miss a few more exhibitions than I usually do, miss a few more pros, all this type of stuff. You know, you're learning every year, and there's nothing wrong with feeling a bit tired, but I've had a bit of time off now, spent a bit more time with family. Of course, I feel a little bit more rejuvenated. I look forward to coming to darts now, and you have to do that. So I think you look at the top players, they do miss more than others because you have to.
Yeah, I know you were initially a little bit disappointed with some of the reaction, but then were you warmed by how many people rallied behind you after you spoke out about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, no good looking into the negativity because it's no good. I know I said what I said, but sometimes it never does you any good being honest because it always comes back to bite you in the bum. So for me, I kind of felt like, oh, you know, I was just being honest and I didn't really expect a reaction from it, and everyone reacted like, you know, you need to get a real job. But I've done that before, 6 years as a roofer. I know what it feels like to do a proper job, and this does feel harder, to be honest. But it's the travelling, it's being away from your family, but also very, very privileged to do what I do. So of course you have to take the understanding that it's not always going to be easy as you want, and it is tough. But yeah, I'm happy to accept that it is, and I'll keep doing it.
The good thing is, though, by opening up about it, other players who feel their schedules got too busy, it's something they can all work on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the calendar gets busier every year, to be honest. So it's important that you manage it in a good way. When the calendar comes out this year for next year, I'll make sure I manage it in a good way.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.